Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? I hope you guys are having a good day. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to say what's up to everybody and good morning, good morning, good morning. Today, I have an interesting topic for you. It has to do with single mothers and money. I saw a video that I shared on my Instagram, which is the real Boyce Watkins. I shared a video about a group of single moms in 1986 who were basically saying, I think I can make it as a single mom. I don't think the father is necessary in the house. And I want to share some data with you about the financial devastation of being a single mom, as well as kind of talking about the financial dynamics of Black families and just what's really going on in our community. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I am your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every single day. Sometimes we do it 10 times a day, and the condition and the reason we do it is because we believe in our people. We also believe that our people can be the most financially intelligent people on the planet. We believe that our children are going to run businesses and create jobs, not just seek jobs out. We also believe our kids are going to be wealthy and successful. And if you agree with that, if you believe that that's possible for your kids and you want that for your kids, put a B1 in the chat. And even if you don't have kids, you don't have to make a baby in order to be a parent. Give me an amen in the chat if you agree with that you don't have to have a child in order to be a parent, that it does take the village to raise our kids. And I've tried my best to influence as many Black kids as possible, even if they're not biologically related to me. And I think that's really important for us to do. All right, so I want to say good morning to Sonia Young and Brandon and Heart Soul. Shout out the city you're from. Let me know what city you're from. I see Tony C's out of Pittsburgh. And let's see. I see April. Thank you, April, for your amen. And Wanda and Fee. Sometimes I get so much into the topic so fast that I forget to just say hi to y'all. What's up to everybody on Instagram? My Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. Now, I'm going to replay a video that I put on Instagram this morning. And those of you that are listening on Spotify, you can find the show on Spotify or Apple at the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. Those of you who are listening, you'll hear it. Those of you who are not on YouTube will not see it, but it's okay. You don't have to actually see it. You can just actually hear it, and it's just as good. And I shared the video on my Instagram page, and I wanted to see kind of what the conversation was. And then I wanted to add some color and context to it because I think that this single mother, single parent, single family kind of dynamic has become something that we should think about, something we should reflect on. And I'm gonna try my best to do it in a way that doesn't hurt anybody's feelings or makes anybody feel bad about their situation, but really to kind of give you some economic realities that are connected to this issue. So let me go ahead and play this video and let me know if you can hear it and see it. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna play it right now.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One. The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. It's a lot of responsibility, and then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home, so it really, male figures are not substantially important in the family.
Okay. All right. So give me one word to describe how that video made you feel. How did the video make you feel? Did it make you feel proud? Did it make you feel sad? Did it make you feel good about the whole image of the whole strong Black woman kind of thing that's been debated? Did you feel sorry for them? Like, how did you feel? What Stacey Marie just puts a broken heart there. Cedric says wow. Sharon says sad. The experiment began in the project, and it had such a negative impact. Sad. Yeah, I felt a little bit sad. I felt sad especially when the girl at the end was basically saying that a male figure in the home is not important. And those aren't her exact words, but she kind of said that. And I think as a male, as a male figure in my home, I would hate to live in a world where everybody sort of believed that if I wasn't here, it wouldn't matter, that it wouldn't make a difference, that that I don't have as much influence and impact as the mother does, or I don't have as much relevance to the house as the mother does, right? And I think that this is something that's been kind of this interesting dynamic. It's not just Black people, right? It's kind of a nationwide thing. I think Black people hit especially hard with some of the welfare policies, as well as mass incarceration and the things that they did to your men in order to put you in a position where Joe Biden becomes the man of your house, or whoever's paying the welfare check, or your white boss at work becomes the man of your house, and you don't really see the Black man as the man of your house, and there's a whole set of dynamics there in terms of a couple of things. Number one, I think that for the men, I don't think you should ever let anybody else be the man of your house, and that requires you to compete to be the man of that house. And so, if you just kind of walk away, or you give up, or you sort of sit back and punk out, then somebody else will take your spot. And so even though we know that racism is real, we know that white folks can be, sometimes decent, sometimes terrible. The system is definitely terrible. I don't hate white people, but I love Black people. And sometimes some of this history is really, really terrible in terms of the things they've done to us. It doesn't benefit you or really strengthen your position as a man to simply complain about another man as if you are nothing and he is Superman. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't sit and talk about the white man like he is superior to you, because when you talk about him as if he's superior to you, then everybody picks up on that. Your children pick up on that. Your woman picks up on that. And next thing you know, she becomes Meghan Markle, and she marries some, rich redheaded white boy from across the sea, and really thinks that she has leveled up now, even though she literally just married a slave master. Like, literally, the British family made their billions of dollars off of slavery and stealing land from Black people and colonialism and killing Black people. That's how they made their money. So she'll, sometimes people want to be on the winning team. And I think that as a man, it's very important for you to just sort of say, okay, no matter what sort of dysfunctional scenario I bought myself into, there's certain lines and boundaries I'm going to simply set. It's not going to make everybody happy. I can tell y'all right now, I'm not a politically correct guy. I try to be a nice guy, but I'm not always a nice guy. I don't want to be politically correct. I don't want to fit into a world that has wussified and wimpified and brokenified the Black man. I'm not interested in trying to fit into whatever you think defines toxic masculinity. I'll make that decision because I'm not hurting nobody. If I'm out here telling my truth and speaking from my perspective as a Black man, I admit I will tell you the truth. I offend a lot of people. I offend some women. When we had the whole conversation about Lizzo, and I talked about the dangers of promoting obesity and minstrel shows to destroy the image of the Black woman around the world. I had a lot of people saying I hated women because of that. I said, no, I don't hate women. I love women. I love Lizzo. I hate the stereotypes. I hate racism. I hate minstrel shows. I hate the fact that you think that because white people paid you $1 million, that what you're doing is okay. I hate that. I hate the idea that everybody thinks the Black woman is a low level, low base $2 hoe because she's running around with a liquor bottle, showing her belly rolls and acting like that's a good thing, wearing thongs to Lakers games and embarrassing the Black community. I don't like that. I'm sorry. It's not nothing against her. It's really more so a conversation about the system. It's the system that incentivizes this kind of behavior. And then also I offend a lot of men because I don't like some of the talk in the manosphere where you will say that you're holding women accountable and you'll talk so negatively about single mothers that it's despicable. It's pathetic because many of you were raised by a single mother. If you were raised by a single mother, how in the hell can you talk down on single mothers like that? If you were raised by a Black woman, what is wrong with you talking bad about Black women? You're talking bad about yourself. That's where you came from. Get a damn therapist and stop acting like you have the right to hold Black women accountable when you never held yourself accountable. Half the dudes out here talking bad about single mothers and don't date a single mom. Single moms this, single moms that. A lot of these dudes got kids that they made. You created single mothers. So nobody's holding you accountable for creating single mothers, but you want to hold single mothers accountable because they actually stayed behind and took care of your damn kids. Shut up. You sound stupid right now. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying to you, and this is really for anybody who's listening, and I know that I alienate a lot of people, and I'm okay with that. I'm 100% okay with that, is that I really think that as men, this is me talking to the men right now, you have to claim your spot in the game. You have to claim your spot. And just know that when you claim your spot, when the Black man stands up and says, I'm here and I will be accounted for, you're not going to count me out, then you're going to offend a lot of people who created in their mind, they created a society where the Black man does not exist. In their mind, they created a world where Black men don't matter. They created a world where the Black community is seen as a community without fathers, without husbands, without protectors, without males. They go to when politicians want to get votes from black people, they don't go and appeal to black men, they appeal to black women. They appeal to the matriarchy of the community because they say, well, you know what? The men are weak and the men don't exist and the men want to run off and go get laid and smoke weed all day or whatever the hell they're doing. So we're going to go talk to the women because the women are holding it down. Well, that is offensive to me because I hold it down in my household too. My wife holds it down. I support her. I love her. I back her in every way humanly imaginable. But guess what? I hold it down too. And in this house, I make it very clear I am here. I am here. You know, we're not doing that whole single mama carrying the whole world on her back. No, but babe, I am here. I got this. Right. So I think ultimately it's very important for men to understand you can complain all day about what the world is doing to you. But the question is, what are you doing to the world? You know, whatever they're doing to you, you could do it right back. It doesn't mean you have to be toxic. Doesn't mean you have to be mean. Doesn't mean you have to abuse people or disrespect people. It just means you have to love yourself and stand up for yourself. Seriously. Some of y'all been trained to sit down. You've been trained to pee sitting down. Stand up. And so anyway, let me keep going. I hope, please forgive me. I hope it's okay. Sometimes I go Uncle Boyce. I promise you, I'm gonna bring Dr. Boyce in the room. Dr. Boyce is the guy with the PhD in finance. Uncle Boyce is the guy who has a PhD in being a black man. So sometimes Uncle Boyce comes in and gives the perspective of a 51-year-old black man who loves the community. And then Dr. Boyce comes in and gives you the financial side of things, because I think it's very important that you understand the financial lessons that are connected with family structure, family planning, and how you make decisions in your life. And so anyway, do me a favor as we move on. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. I want to remind everybody I have a new book. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. If you'd like to get a copy, you can go to boycewatkins.com. It's also on Amazon as well. And also tonight at 8 p.m., we're doing a free event in the Black Business School. In the Black Business School, we've trained over 1 million of our people, actually over 10 million of our people, how to invest, how to buy shares of stock, how to buy real estate. So if you're interested in joining us tonight at 8 p.m., just go to boycewatkins.com. We're going to talk about how to sell stock options to generate income. I want to help you in every way that I can. And this is a way that I generate income from my family. Because I told you, I'm here. I make my presence felt, period. And my father taught me that ain't nobody going to give you nothing. You got to go in there and you got to take it. So ultimately, that's where that's coming from. So shout out to my daddy and his borderline toxic masculinity. Because I'm going to tell you, he knew how to fight. Sometimes he had to fight. And sometimes I will fight to get what is deserved by my people. All right. So let me move on. So here's the thing. So when I played this clip for you guys earlier, some of you felt it was sad. Some of you felt it was okay. If most of you felt that it was pretty sad, and I was very, very sad too. And I think that what was interesting about this clip about these women, you know, the young girls saying, "I think I can make it as a single mom." I think a lot of that's coming from either a lack of experience or being sort of raised in a traumatic scenario, right? Like if you grew up in a space where everybody in your house had one leg, and you saw everybody hopping around and kind of making do with what they had, you might say, "Oh, well, you don't actually need a left leg. You can actually do just as fine with a right leg," right? And that's really the truth is, this is probably true for all of us, right? For example, one belief I had to question is that I used to believe that a family should consist of the mother, father, and the children. And then when the kids turned 18, you put them out. Grandma lives, granddaddy lives somewhere else or whatever. And then I saw other countries where they would have the mother, the grandmother, and the grandfather in the house with the parents, with the kids, and the kids would stay in the house either until they were married or just until they got old. They would just be there. And I used to think that was strange that if a kid turns 18, it's time for him to go. But actually, I saw households like that where they were thriving better than they would if there was just two people with their kids trying to survive. And this is really true in America, where you have things like inflation and just the cost of living going up and up and up. Workers' wages are remaining flat or going down. And so really, even in our household, I talked to my wife about it, and I said, let's rethink this whole model that says that when your son is 18, we got to put him out of the house. If he can add value to the house, if he's able to bring revenue into the house, if he's able to help with the family business, maybe having him around is beneficial. That gives me time. I work with my son every day. I'm his bonus father, by the way, but and he's got a biological dad, but it doesn't matter. We all work together to raise him. And I love working with him every day. I love having meetings with him. I feel like I can have more influence over him than I would if I just sent him out into the world and said, "Hey, call me once a month," right? Because when you put your child out into the world, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying that when your child is out in the world, then the world is going to influence your child. But when your child is near you, you get to be the influence. And I'm smarter than the college professors at the University of Louisville. So I said, I don't mind if he chooses to be here for a while. I mean, you're gonna have to earn your keep. We're going to have some accountability here. We're going to have some rules and some processes here, and you can't sit still. You've got to show me that you're growing. But in our case, we have a little bit of a privilege. I'm a college professor. His mother's a college professor. I said, if those white people at that university can teach our kid, then we can teach him too, right? We can teach him better because we'll teach him with love, and we're going to teach him how to be black, and we're going to teach him the values that are consistent with our values. Because remember this too: education isn't just education. Education is also partly an indoctrination. Education doesn't just give you skills and information. Education actually gives you your value system. So if you ever want to know why the black community doesn't move forward, why the black community's wealth is going down, it's because so many of you are leaving your homes and being educated and indoctrinated into a set of values that tell you to get as far away from the black community as you possibly can. They're telling you, go out to the suburbs, go work for the big white corporation. Go spend your money with the white-owned business. They're doing that with you. So ultimately, there's nothing wrong with educating your own kids. And to those of you that are doing that, shout out to you. I got friends, some of my friends, Hebrew Israelites, Nation of Islam friends, and then some who just aren't affiliated with any sort of religious group that are doing this. And I'm telling you, your kids are going to win. I see these kids. A lot of them are smarter, more prepared for the world, and they're more likely to take whatever skill they have and pour it back into the family as opposed to pouring it into somebody else's family. Because when you go work at Google and Disney and Walmart, you're making the Walton family rich. You're making somebody else's family rich. You ain't making your own family rich. You're going to get enough money just to get by. So keep that in mind as you raise your kids and how you think about these things. So anyway, do me a favor, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I promise I won't keep you long. I want to do some quick analysis on this. So we're talking about single mothers and single fathers and kind of what that does to the family. Let me start with a statistic. You may have heard me say this if you come to this channel, but I want to repeat it right now because it's relevant. It costs about $300,000 to raise a child in America, one child. So that means if you have 4 kids, that's you're $1.2 million in debt to raise these kids. $1.2 million. Now, imagine there was an academic program at a university and you were thinking about going to college and getting a degree. And they said, sure, you can get this degree, but you have to sign this piece of paper. And on this piece of paper, once you sign it, you're going to owe a student loan of $1.2 million to get this degree. How many of you would want to go to that school? If you were $1.2 million in debt, would you want to do it? Give me a yes or no. How would you feel? Would that be an instant yes, an instant no? I got to think about it. Right. And I'm gonna tell you the right answer in advance. The right answer is I got to think about it. Right. Because if it's something that's going to make you a ton of money, like if you're going to be a neurosurgeon or something, maybe it's worth considering. Right. But for most of us, the answer is no. But I want you to kind of think about this, though. Every time you lay down and have sex with somebody, every time you decide to share your body with another person, you're at risk of signing a contract where you have an extra $300,000 in debt that you owe for the next 18 years. You remember that having a family with another person is a lot like starting a business with them, except it's 10 times more stressful than starting a business. I mean, if I start an LLC, I can easily dissolve the LLC and move on. You can't really dissolve a 5-year-old child without going to prison. I mean, early stage, yeah, you can get procedures done and all that. But late stage, you can't just sort of get rid of a baby daddy that you made an 8-year-old with, right? And some of the STDs and all that, we can talk about that too, right? But really, so here's what's interesting to me, right? When I told you guys, when I said, hey, what if there was a school you could go to and you sign a piece of paper and you're $1 million in debt or even $300,000 in debt. Let's say one child instead of 4. A lot of you said, oh no, I wouldn't do that. Ooh, I'd have to think about that. Ooh, that'd be a big deal. Well, I'm trying to figure out if you would think so hard about signing a document that puts you $300,000 or $400,000 in debt, why do we not spend an equal amount of time thinking carefully about who we decide to lay down with? Right? Why not? I mean, again, because the outcome is the same. When that child comes into the world, you've got 18 years of dealing with this other person, at least 18 years. Really, you're dealing with them for life. Maybe it shouldn't be so uncool to take time to think about these decisions and understand the gravity of these choices, because what then happens is next thing you know, you are stuck in a scenario where you can't stand your baby mama and you're mad because she's taking a big chunk of your paycheck and not letting you see your kids the way you want to, or raising your kids in the wrong way. Next thing you got a stripper raising your baby and you're just embarrassed by that, right? Or next thing you know, you got a baby daddy who is so dangerous and so screwed up that you don't even want your child going to his house because it smells like weed and liquor, and he got hookers coming in and out of the house and gangsters and whatever, right? Like, I mean, and again, the logical question that people have to then ask is, what would make you think that sleeping with a person like that would be a good idea? Oh, I get it. I know what it is. It's the Russell Wilson future kind of thing, right? Sierra, like a lot of young women, studies show this is true. When you're young, you're attracted to the bad boy. You're attracted to the thug. The thugs are exciting. The fast guys, and we glorify the thug. We glorify the thug culture, right? So the nerdy nice guy like me, the guy sitting in the library, oh, that's boring. But the guy who's got a gun on his hip and 50 gold chains and a gold tooth, some platinum gold teeth in his mouth and running the streets acting a fool, like that's interesting, that's exciting, because it's kind of, it kind of gets you going, right? And it's true actually for a lot of mammals. That kind of ultra high testosterone behavior, maybe it shows itself in extreme confidence, stuff like that, the athlete or whatever, that's very appealing to females, right? They want to mate with men like that, and I get that, right? So there is very natural that that Sierra was attracted to Future, because Future is a famous rap star. He walks around with a lot of confidence. And a lot of women like Future, right? He's popular, he's powerful, he's talented, he's good looking, he's kind of got that bad boy edge to him. So a lot of young women think that's appealing. Here's the problem, though. The problem is that that segment of man tend to make terrible mates. That type of man make terrible fathers in many cases. Future has threatened to beat up his baby's mamas in front of the kids, right? That type of man is also more likely to beat you. He's more likely to cheat. He's more likely to do a lot of things, right? This is also what the studies show. So sometimes the very thing that you're attracted to, like that, it's like that chocolate candy bar that you see in the store that you want to eat that candy bar so bad. That's also the candy bar that will make you fat, give you diabetes, and you will die at an early age if you keep eating candy bars like that. So a lot of women, unfortunately, get in situations where you got a baby daddy who's not good enough to be anybody's father, right? And somebody says, why does Boyce hate Future so much? I don't hate Future, but I hate the behavior. I hate abandoning black children. I hate those who do things that make the black man look like an idiot, who doesn't love his kids, who's a buffoon, who's out here just doing whatever, who's happy to see other black men die. That's what I hate. Don't hate him, but I hate the system that created this sort of mindset that is very destructive to black people and to the black community, because there are a million men who emulate this behavior because they think that that's cool and popular. So I'm going to sort of help you understand this point that I'm making. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. I'm going to put an image on the screen, and I want you to tell me who's in this picture. I want everybody to type it in the chat. And if you don't see it, if you're only listening on Spotify, the Dr. Boyce breakdown, that's okay. I will tell you what the image is in a minute. So everybody, tell me, type in the chat, who's the guy on this screen? Who's this interesting looking white man on the screen right there? What do you see? What do you see up there? All right. Yes, that is Batman, right? That is Batman, the masked whatever he was, right? Okay, now I'm gonna put another man on the screen, and I want you to tell me who this person is. Who's that man right there? I'll give you a second to guess. That man is called the Joker. That is the Joker, right? Now, here's the thing about Batman and the Joker. When I think about a Future and a Russell Wilson scenario, I think about Batman and the Joker, because Batman is strong and noble, and he's the good guy, and then the Joker is also strong, right? He's Batman's rival, so they're almost like equals, except Batman kind of wins a little bit, but he's sinister and he's terrible and he won't help you. He'll steal from you. So I want to ask you, if you're in a who's the hero between Batman and the Joker? I'm making a point here. I like to ask simple questions to get to make. I like to ask simple questions to make complex points. So who's the hero? Batman, right? And who is the villain? Type that in the chat. The villain is the Joker. So if you're in a tough spot, if you need help and you're in danger, are you going to call Batman or are you going to call the Joker? Who are you going to call if you need somebody to help you out of a tough situation? You going to call Batman or you going to call the Joker? You're going to call Batman. You're going to call Batman, right? Because even though they have equal energy, equal ability to some extent, they're both very powerful. Batman is the one who will help you and support you and improve your situation. The Joker will destroy your situation. The Joker is going to show up and kill you, beat you up, or steal from you, right? So really, when you think about the future Russell Wilson dating game that a lot of women go through, where in the 20s they want the bad boy, then they get to their 30s and then they pick the good guy because they've been abused by the bad boy. They've had a child with the bad boy, and their child's been abandoned, had their feelings hurt, all these other things. I think of future Russell Wilson in that category. Both of these guys have their own type of swag. Both of these guys are successful. Both of these guys are strong in their own way, right? Future more so in exuding confidence and talent, whereas Russell exudes strength, physical strength, and also football talent. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So Russell's not a punk. Russell's just a guy who is more family oriented. He tends to care about other people. He tends to care about his wife a little bit more. He's more willing to commit. So in a way, I would almost think of it like this, right? So you talk about the single mother dilemma. I would encourage ladies to really ask yourself when you pick the strong man. Like every woman's attracted. Most women are attracted to strength and things that provide security. Are you dating Batman or are you dating the Joker? Because sometimes the Joker can be appealing, just like Batman's appealing. But the question is, when you get in that struggling situation, when you're challenged, when you need somebody to help you pay the bills, do you call the person who's going to help you or the person who's going to harm you? When you're trying to be elevated spiritually and emotionally, do you call the person who's going to help you or the person who's going to make things worse and stress you out? When you're talking about the struggles of raising a family where every child is going to cost you $300,000 per child, do you call Batman or do you call the Joker? Who do you want to have a child with? Right. So ultimately, a lot of y'all out here dating jokers. That's it. You should be you looking for a hero, but you end up stuck with jokers. Some of your men are absolute jokers, and then next thing you know, you're stuck in this dilemma, this horrible dilemma of single motherhood, where the median net worth of a black single mother in America is actually zero. The median net worth of a black single mother in America is zero. I don't care how much you talk to me about black girl magic and black women killing it and all these great things black women are doing. All that is true. But when you look at the statistics, the median net worth of the black single mother in America is zero. They have zero capacity to build wealth. Why? Well, because they can't play the game of powernomics because they're too busy playing the game of strugglenomics. That's what you're dealing with. That's where you are right now. So it looks like my alarm went off, so that kind of killed the Instagram feed. So everybody who's watching on Instagram, I apologize. So in fact, let me see. I'm gonna ask my accountant. I'm gonna meet my accountant in a minute. So I gotta ask her for a few extra minutes. Hit the thumbs up button if you can. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. All right. So let's jump into let's just talk about this in terms of sort of looking at dating like a business. Dating is a lot like going into business with somebody. And if you go into business with somebody, you're going to sign a lifelong contract where you have to do business with this person for at least 18 years. You're probably going to vet that person. If you don't vet that person, then when things go wrong, then you can only blame yourself because you didn't take the time to sort of figure out who this person is and what it's going to be like to do business with this person. So I want to ask yourself this question, and this is a question that I think could be applied to mating situations. So if you go into business, would you rather go into business with somebody who works hard or somebody who's lazy? If you go into business with somebody, would you rather go into business with somebody who is skilled or someone who is unskilled? If you go into business with somebody, do you want to go into business with somebody who shows up every day to help the business? Or do you want to do business with somebody who is going to not do any work, but still expect to split the money? I think the answers to those questions are obvious. So those same questions that you ask about who you go into business with, should be asked in terms of who you choose to have children with. Because if you have children with somebody who doesn't have the capacity to take care of a child, doesn't care about their kids, doesn't show up, and doesn't have any desire to be responsible, then what you're basically doing is you're doing business with somebody where you have an 18-year contract, at least 18 years, and they're going to do none of the work and collect half the money. And then next thing you know, you're stuck in the horrible situation of trying to be a family all by yourself, a family of one, so to speak. And I think it's one thing, right? I think we got to be really careful when we're cheering on single motherhood. Like when we're saying shout out to the single moms who did it. I get all that, right? My mother was a single mother for a while until she married my father. I get all that. But there's a difference between single parenthood that occurs because of one unfortunate accident versus single parenthood that occurs because you either planned to do it and just simply chose to do it, or you were careless in your decision making, right? All those scenarios are going to be challenging, right? All those scenarios are going to require superhuman strength to overcome on some level. And unfortunately, all the statistics, all the data show that kids who don't have their father are in, many of them are in horrible shape. It doesn't mean they can't succeed. It doesn't mean they're doomed to fail. But at the same time, don't tell me that it's okay for a kid to not have a father when you would never tell me that it's okay for a kid to not have a mother. You would never say, well, mothers are optional. And it's nice to have a mom, but not having a mom, you're just the same as a guy who does have a mom. No, kids who grow up without their mama become serial killers and stuff. I'm not saying all of them, but really, like if somebody became a serial killer and then somebody said, yeah, well, his mama died when he was 2, you'd be like, oh, well, that probably led to some emotional issues where he probably felt abandoned and blah, blah, blah. Or if you see men who are doing weird things with women, like I knew a guy who was an extreme womanizer. I mean, really extreme. And then when you talk to him long enough, you find out that he hated his mother. His mother was not a good person. So at the end of the day, what's really interesting to me is that there are people who can clearly see how easy it is to grow up without, or sorry, they could clearly see the damage that would be done if a child didn't have a mother, but they don't acknowledge the damage that is being done when the child has no father. And so when you're talking about economics and wealth and everything else, I keep telling you got to talk about family structure. When you're trying to do a team sport by yourself, it's like trying to win a basketball game when you got 2 players and the other team has 5. They can have 5 mediocre players. You could put Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant against a team of 5 mediocre guys, and Kobe and Michael cannot win. They're the best players in history, among the best players in history. Kobe and Michael still couldn't win. You could put them against five decently trained high school kids. They can't win because all they got to do is spread out the offense and pass the ball around, and they can't be everywhere at once. And they would win. They would, So ultimately, what I'm saying to you is, let's sort of be careful about getting so caught up in the strong black woman narrative that we want to act like the men don't matter anymore, or that being a strong black man is somehow a crime or a sin. It's not. And I don't care if anybody thinks that. I don't care. Again, part of being a so-called strong black man is that you don't worry about whether or not people approve of you being strong. Well, you think white men are going to be happy when black men stand up? No. You think so? Some black women won't be happy. Some black women are so used to selfishly controlling every situation that they're in that they're not happy when men stand up and want to be accounted for. So you got to stand up and be accounted for. And really another thing I would say, when I hear about guys who tell me things like, I have a child with a lady and she won't let me see my kids. I get that. I've seen that happen. So what you might want to consider doing, honestly, is getting a legal contract to protect your rights. This is the same way you would get a legal contract to protect your rights in a business. Like maybe if we're having this baby together, I need you to sign a document that we're going to have drawn up that says that that you never have the right to take away my access to my kids, and that I'm going to get to see my kids X amount of time, or I'm going to get partial custody or whatever. Like, I really think that maybe that might be a solution in terms of being able to make sure that you have the right to have a full presence in the life of your child. And also, I'm going to tell you this too, that broken families are a losing financial strategy. That if you are committed to not having full, complete families, then what you're doing is you're basically committing to playing a team sport without any teammates. And so when you see all the stress that comes with single motherhood, there's no surprise by that, because it's a lot of stress. Me and my wife are stressed out being parents by ourselves. There's two of us, and we hire a person to help us. So we got three people, and we got grandma and uncle and their other father. That all these people. It takes six of us to raise these three damn kids. Raising all these kids by yourself, that is a task that is out of this world. And I know we're used to doing it. I know we're used to struggling and suffering and going through hell and putting ourselves through all kinds of nonsense. But I'm telling you, you got to confront that culture. You got to kind of say, nah, I think I'm going to try something a little bit different. But so don't do what everybody else is doing. Don't do what they're promoting on TV. Don't do what they're promoting in the media, because they're literally sucking you into a trap. They're sucking you into a living, walking hell. And I can tell you this: if I was a young woman who was trying to date a man, I would take my time and be very cautious and careful and thoughtful and evaluate men over long periods of time. Keep your options open. Let those men compete for you. Show up as your best, and then also pick the man who's going to be best for your kids. Right? Don't pick the man just because he got the most swag, or he makes the most money, or he's the one who said something romantic that got you all going. No, you got to think about, is this man going to really be there for my kids? A good way to measure that actually is to look at what men mentored him. A man who was mentored by a married man or a man who took care of his kids is more likely to do the same. So I would try to figure out what is his benchmark for manhood. How does he know what a man is supposed to do in certain situations? What man does he call to find out, like, okay, how do I handle this situation? Because I can tell you, me and my brother, we're both married. We both have kids. You know who we call when we have problems in our relationships? We call our dad. And our dad gives us advice from the perspective of a man who's been married for 49 years. He doesn't say, F these hoes and you gotta tell her off. You gotta do this and you gotta do that. No, he gives us advice that is conducive to keeping the family together, right? To making your point without burning the whole house down, right? To being responsible and handling your responsibility. That's the kind of advice he gives us. So ultimately, let's stop undervaluing the importance of good Black male mentorship. And so if I'm a man and I'm thinking about what type of woman I want to possibly lay down with or have a child with, I'm going to really try to get a sense of how valuable she thinks the father is, right? So if she grew up with a great father, chances are I would imagine she's more likely to understand the importance of a father. If she didn't have a great father, then I would try to really get a sense of, what's going to happen here if things go bad between us. Is she going to act like I'm a disposable part that can just be removed from the machine, or does she see me as an invaluable component to the life of my child? And then if you're not sure, just get a contract. Just protect your rights. Don't let nobody push you out of the life of your kid. That's what I would say. And don't let the world tempt you into thinking that spending your whole life chasing women and all that stuff while your kids are over here starving and struggling and all that, and you send a pack of diapers once a month and you think you're doing a good job. I've really seen that. I've seen the bar get lowered so weirdly that I heard a mother one time tell me, "Oh, he's a good daddy." I said, "Well, what makes him a good daddy?" "Well, he sends me Pampers every week." And I'm like, "Well, does the baby eat Pampers? Like, is that all the baby needs is Pampers once a week?" Like, so if you left your child and abandoned your kid, or you lived down the block and was out, doing whatever you're doing, and you saw your child once a week and you sent Pampers once a week, would your baby survive or would your baby die? Because babies can't eat Pampers. Stop that. Stop that. And stop acting like that $200 a month you send in child support is enough to take care of a human being. It is not. You try living off $200 a month and see how long you survive. So all of this, and if you want your financial situation to be better, maybe even the economic potential of the people that you have kids with, that makes a difference. If I can tell you, I married my wife, and my wife was a person who had her own money. She knew how to make her own money. She was a professional. Don't get me wrong. I had money, so I could have married a woman who didn't have any money and paid all the bills. But I would have a different obligation in that situation. I would know that, okay, what I'm walking into is a situation where I'm going to be paying for everything. And if I decide to walk away, she's not going to let me walk away so easily because I am her primary benefactor, right? But if you have a person that is already doing okay financially, then they're focused on protecting their money. They're not thinking about how they can take yours, right? So ultimately, all these variables have to be considered instead of just being like, oh, she's cute, I'm gonna go hit that. Like, okay, you can think that way if you want to, and see how that works out for you. And next thing you know, you be up in the manosphere screaming about how all women ain't shit, when really you picked women that wasn't shit, and that's why you mad. So anyway, let me stop talking. Let me be quiet. I hope this conversation was helpful. I wanted to just get us to kind of think about these things. I don't think that the single motherhood epidemic is good for the Black community. I think all the statistics back me up on this. And what I would just generally want to say is, whatever choice you make in your life, and I'm not judging you for the decisions that you make, I would just make sure you think thoroughly about all the consequences, because the reason you're here today is because you want to level up. Give me a yes in the chat if you agree. The reason you're here today is because you want to have more wealth. Give me a yes in the chat if you agree. The reason you're here is because in your life you want less stress, not more stress. You want to break generational curses. You want to do better with yourself, and you want your kids to do better than you, right? So in order to do that, you got to think differently. You cannot have the mindset of all the people that are out here failing and struggling and can't hardly move, can't hardly get by. My heart goes out to them. And if you're in that category, I congratulate you, because you're changing your mindset. And the world ain't going to teach you that. This world ain't never going to teach Black people how to truly be successful, happy, and inspired, and complete, and whole, and loving. They will never teach us how to love each other at a high level. They don't give us that. You got to go create that for yourself. That means thinking differently from the rest of the world. And if you do not do that, then you're going to kind of get what everybody else is getting. And I don't want that for you. Okay. So if I sounded a little bit weird, or if I offended you, if I sounded preachy, please forgive me. I'm just sharing this message so that you'll hear a narrative that's a little bit different from what else is out there. And you guys know, because of my doctorates in finance, I thought very carefully and extensively about all the different variables that are not good. You're not going to find in a textbook that will have every impact on where you are financially. Just marrying somebody who's a go-getter like you, who understands wealth preservation like you, who understands family preservation like you, who understands, good energy like you, that right there will elevate your life. And then suddenly being wealthy and successful will become easy. It is not hard for me to preserve wealth in this household, because I married a woman who wants to preserve my resources. It's simple. It's actually kind of simple when you think about it. So I hope that helps. Have a good day, everybody. Do me a favor. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up on the way out. My new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. I'm going to do a book tour this spring. So if you'd like to get a copy, just go to boycewatkins.com, or you can go to amazon.com. And also, last but not least, don't forget we have financial flashcards and workbooks for kids. So if you'd like to take a look at that, and educate your kids on wealth, just go to financialworkbooks.com. The URL's on the screen. So take care, guys. Have a good day. God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon. Be good. Peace.